in tone. I don't know anymore. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is Sturch. It is Gooch. It is a packed house. We got Nick behind the glass. We got Madison Palumbo with a live mic, just in case, we need her expertise on anything like that. We got a packed house here, a packed show. We thank you guys for joining us today and every day as we bring in more and more technology. Hey, look, we have a Jumbotron. So see, it's all cool. Artie has provided us with more guidance yesterday as far as just kind of running the show and running some graphics. And we're excited about that because I was, what?
Cool.
Oh, I was like, what are you pointing at? So yes, that's the Chop Sports-tron. We'll call that. A lot of things to get into today, but first and foremost, if you want to support Chop Sports, do so by heading on over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. That is the way to support the show and support the brand and represent the brand and just tell everybody that you're one of the, angel investors at this point. $3, $5, $10 increments. The $10 stuff, the Dynasty members will be getting brand new content coming at the end of this summer, heading into the football season. Very, very excited to finally talk some football today because that's where we're at in the world right now. It's dog days.
Even if you look at all the major sports publications, they're kind of just doing their own. They're having their writers do their own little lists, and we're just going to piggyback off of some of these lists throughout the coming weeks. And today is our first day we foray into fantasy football rankings.
Thank God.
Bro, ESPN dropped their first mock, which we're going to break down. This was all the way back on May 6th that I've been looking at this and kind of basing things and where people are going to go, getting my ADPs down. But now it's finally time for us to talk about it because, as I mentioned to you, I was in Walgreens the other day. I look left and I see Jonathan Taylor staring at me. So it's time to buy your fantasy football magazines. And it's fantasy season. That's it.
It is.
Baseball is now the only sport that I care about that's going on, but it's hard to grind on baseball.
You can only talk about the Yankees so many times over and over and over again. And listen, I have no problem talking about the Yankees winning. That's fun to me. But anyway, if you're watching this video on YouTube, which we encourage, if you're on Facebook right now, please head on over to YouTube and watch us over there. We usually just use the Facebook as like a catalyst to let you know that we're live, and we expect you to just jump on over to YouTube. So that helps us out tremendously, counts towards the view count and all that stuff. So we want to thank you guys for doing that. Like the video, please. I can't say that enough, stress that enough. It helps us out, helps the algorithm, helps us get searched out. Like last Thursday's show, which now is over 2,000 people have watched that show, and I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out what we did to trip that algorithm, but you know what? I can't complain. I'm not going to read that comment right off the rip, but I will get into it because I know it's got something to do with Zeke Elliott. Saw that right away. So in any event, there is plenty of things to get into. Let's chop it up and start this bad boy off. We start with some Yankee baseball, just a little bit. Oh, before we get into that, I'm sorry. Dat Chat, 500 members are in there. Please get over there and check that out. Also, check out the Hater Fantasy Sports Facebook group, which I'm an admin on. So everything that you've been seeing on there, most of it is from me so far. It's usually just, talking about the show itself. Today would be a great time to do some Hater Fantasy talk because as good as some players are also going to fall down the ranks on their daily fantasy, which Hater is
it's tough
low score wins.
It's going to be tough to incorporate with like what we're doing today is a mock. So we're only going to break down the first 5 rounds, but ideally you're not going to be picking any of the guys in your Hater Fantasy League that we're going to be talking about today because it just doesn't work that way.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. But anyway, Dat Chat, Hater Fantasy Sports. Also, wow, before I even forget this, I don't know, maybe I'm rolling off a little bit off the cuff here because I'm trying to do a couple things at once. We'll take away that for a second because we want to talk about this Sunday, June the 26th, going down at 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We have ourselves the very first annual Chop Sports Barbecue. We expect a big crowd. We're expecting in the triple digits range. Yesterday, we came up with the idea to probably get about 10 cases of beer, -1 for me. So that's like 9 cases of beer. So, I plan on at least polishing off, 10 to 12.
The weather is looking a little hot.
Weather is looking at 90 degrees. But
and
sunny. Sunny.
The rain went away.
The rain
as
did go
of now,
away.
so we look like we're gonna. It's on.
Madison,
no rain
I have to ask you. Bring that mic down real quick. Are you going to be indulging in adult beverages?
Tequila.
Oh boy. Okay. So now it's a party. Now it's a party, folks. Madison's going in on tequila. So we're expecting a nice crowd over there. Be short. What's up?
Nothing, Dave.
You can't do that.
I can.
No, you can't.
No, I can't. You're gonna have to.
You can't do that.
Adjust. If I look at something,
you can't triple
something,
something.
that's because I need to see something. I don't need to explain every move. It's like if I was like, you'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, well, if I wanted everybody to know, then I would fucking say it.
I'm a perfectionist. I want to make sure things are going well.
I think it'll be perfect. It will make it perfect if I looked over. I was just trying to get the button that I'm going to hit later. Do I have to explain it now?
No, don't.
I'm not hitting it now.
No, what? Come on,
ruined it.
Damn it. All right. Anyway, we're still talking about the party. So Anyway, Chop Sports Barbecue. We got some games going on. There's going to be fun for the kids. Now I sound like a Jimmy Palumbo advertisement. But anyway, there is going to be some, what'd you say? We want to get some water guns?
Yeah, a little super soaker action, water balloons, something that the kids could do. We'll figure all that out. But
yeah,
it's going to be a good time. Beer, food, nice weather, good people. You can't go wrong.
Can't miss. So we're excited about that. It goes down on Sunday. So be sure to get your tickets. No, I'm kidding. Do yourself a favor. Please email. The email has compiled, and Ashley's done a wonderful job compiling a nice list for us. So it's climbing. So if you want to get involved with the Chop Sports Barbecue, please be sure the email's listed on the thing right there. chopsports.events@gmail.com to let us know how many people. Oh wow, what a great idea! Ashley's coming in with a banger idea. A mini pool. Oh my God, 92 degrees? Dude.
Yeah, well, how are we going to fill it?
You told me there's a bathroom right there. So some buckets. We have the buckets already because we're going to be doing the pong.
But here's the thing. It's not a drop sink. You can't put buckets in the bathroom sink at Merrill Park. So we're going to have to either rig it so there's like a hose going out of the sink.
I don't know, but that was a banger idea.
It is a good idea. And I'm thinking about ways that we're even going to get water there for the spackle bucket pong or whatever the fuck we're calling that. Not sure what we're calling it, but
it's beer pong with buckets and tennis balls.
Okay, so what are we calling it?
Tennis pong.
That's what I wrote down on the list, but I'm looking at it and I'm feeling uncomfortable about it.
You could just call it pong
because it's just
that
pong,
dynamite drop in there.
It's not. It's actually it's like beer tennis instead of beer pong because the pong is taken out of it.
So beer
tennis.
All right, fine. Beer tennis. Let's go with that. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on. We're excited about that. Now we can start talking some sports. I did want to get the plug skis out the way.
If there is a will, there is a way. If we want a pool there,
it's called
Big Pong. We can make it happen. What is it called?
Big Pong?
Big Pong.
According to AJ Bascom. Big Pong.
Big Pong.
That one, that was good. Wait, hold on.
Dave's getting.
I'm gonna happy with
I'm gonna slide the roadcaster to my side.
Anyway, you uncultured swine. Well, good morning to you, AJ. I hope you slept well. But anyway,
so I can't tell if Kyle's trolling me with the spackle ball comment or if he's agreeing that it's called spackle ball.
I think that's hilarious if it was spackle ball. To be honest with you, I mean, you use those buckets for spackle. So, yeah, why not? Whatever it's called, we're playing it. We're playing that. We're playing QB54. We're playing some bags. I keep calling them bags. Cornhole. Speaking of cornhole, cornholelevel.com. I also want to give a shout out to all the people that have contributed already. You guys rock. You're making our lives a lot easier as far as taking care of some of these expenses that come along with trying to throw a party. So, yeah, I like spackle ball too, Kyle. Let's go. Spackle ball it is. All right. So, here we go. Yankees. They lost a baseball game yesterday. I know it doesn't happen often, but they're 50-18 now. And yesterday's game, again, Nestor doesn't always have it. I mean, clear. We got a note. Would you like to? Okay. Thank you. It's from the producer's chair. So anyway, we have the Yankees. So they lost the game. Obviously stinks. They don't do it often. We mentioned it yesterday. Like, can they sustain this kind of momentum pretty much the entire year? They're already halfway mark of getting to 100 wins. We're not at the All-Star break yet. So they're playing well. They kind of shit the bed yesterday. Judge was out of the lineup, but that's the bigger topic of this Yankee stuff is that Judge's arbitration hearing got moved to Friday. So that's now moved twice. So what's the holdup?
I have some questions. Well, the holdup, I maybe the lawyer, maybe the mitigator, litigator, whatever they call these people, couldn't show up. Maybe Judge has some medical issue. That's why they held him out of the lineup. Does Judge have to be present?
He hasn't had an off day in like forever.
I'm very unsure in how they treat these arbitration meetings or hearings during the season. I thought that they were always an off-season thing, but obviously with the work stoppage, maybe that didn't allow for the arbitration hearings to take place. Because what are they basing it on? I don't know that they're allowed to base it on this season. you were talking that you read some analytics or some articles that were analyzing and breaking it down that they were able to factor in what he's doing this year. If they are, how could the Yankees even argue? They might as well just not show up.
Right. It's just a matter of how cheap can this team get? Because it's like, I know it's arbitration. So one guy, the arbiter, is going to make that decision, right? He's going to be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. What?
That's what they're called.
Yes, arbiter. He's going to make the decision ultimately. So like the Yankees came in at 17. Judge and his company, his brand, his people came in at 21. Why can't we just settle on 19? Like happy medium here.
Because Judge wants 21.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. So if the Yankees lose arbitration, they will have to pay Judge $21 million, which goes back to back pay.
They can tie.
No, they can't tie.
Well, they can tie if they split the difference. Then it's a tie. That's the way I'll consider.
Well, there's
it a tie.
no, but I'm saying there's no tie allowed. Is what I'm saying. One has to win.
But they're not going to. It's not going to be the reason why it isn't just a win-loss because it's not either 17 or 21. Like the arbiter can decide on a middle number.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's how it works, to be honest with you.
Do you not think?
No. I'm based off of everything that I heard yesterday in a long, drawn-out conversation. It's that there's a Yankee side, a Judge side, and the arbiter who favors one of the sides. Not like, all right, this is what I'm going to deal. Like he or she, whoever the arbiter is, has no bearing on the contract number. It's like, should the Yankees win their case or should Judge win theirs? It's not a middle ground. If the Yankees wanted to say, hey, listen, let's avoid arbitration. We'll give you 19. That's another story.
I'm not positive. I think that we need some clarification because I do think that I've seen situations where he was awarded this amount and it wasn't the dollar amount that he was seeking, but it was still a win because he didn't get the 21. We'll just use Judge's numbers and they gave him 20. So he's $3 million over what the Yankees wanted to give him. But I guess if it's on his side, 21,
his side of 21, like,
but in this case,
I
if
see
they
what you mean.
split the difference and they made it 19, and they were like, "Look, you guys both make an intriguing point,
right?
Rather than have you lose or you lose, we're just going to say we're going to go 19 and we're going to call it even. Okay. That would be a tie, quote unquote. But I know what you're saying, where it's like, I guess Judge would be the winner.
We'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see.
If he gets anything more than 17. The reason why Judge's offer was so bad is because even in the first year of that offer, they were offering him 17.
I got a question for you, though.
Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I know. It's a slap in the face right now. Like, because compared to what other people are making is ridiculous.
But we're going to give you the low number, and we're going to skip the arbitration process. But in this year, you're going to get paid the lowest number possible.
Meanwhile, he's tearing the cover off the ball. Yeah. But my question to you is, and I guess Yankee fans around the world and anybody watching this show right now, either now or later on, you're catching up. Like this Judge deal, right? This is going to be what I hear that he's seeking is 8 years. So right now, that would pay him till he's 38 years old. Now, the other main Yankees on the roster right now, like your Garrett Coles, like your DJ LeMahieu, right? Other than him, those two guys are getting paid up until they're 37, 38. So why wouldn't you just say, you know what? Aaron Judge, you're way better value than DJ LeMahieu right now. You're way better value than Garrett Cole right now. You're younger than all two of those guys, right? You different position or whatever. I understand that. But I'm saying, like, what I mean is if they gave those kinds of numbers to older players, what is the holdup? Because I think what happens is I think the Yankees only want to go to like 6 and pay him till he's like 36.
I don't think he's going to get 8 years from anybody.
I think the Yankees are going to have to, is what I'm saying.
They wouldn't have had to if they would have just gave him the proper dollar amount early, because it wasn't about the years when he turned it down. And obviously now the agent's going to come at him with this hard number. 8 years is a really big number for a guy of Judge's size, and that's what you have to factor in.
The health, yeah.
When Judge is 38, LeMahieu didn't sign an 8-year deal to pay him till he was 38. He signed it when he was already 35, 34 years old. So
correct.
You already saw the talent translate into his mid-30s at that point.
There is worry that this.
How many years do the Yankees have LeMahieu for? Two more years after this. He's already 34.
I believe he's paid until he's like 36, 37 years old. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
but still,
if Judge is the guy, if Judge is the guy that who everybody, marketing wise, you're about to slap the C on him. Like you got the Judge's chambers, you got the highest selling jersey in baseball right now. He's the face of baseball, or at least one of the faces of baseball. Like, what is the actual concern that the Yankees have? Are they concerned that this can turn out like a Robinson Cano thing, where all of a sudden, like, hey, Seattle comes in at midnight and says, we're going to give you all of this money, and he skips town. Show me a team that can outbid the Yankees.
Show me a contract in the last 15 years in Major League Baseball that was a 10-year deal where the player wasn't holding the team hostage in the last 3 years.
It happened, and they mentioned CC Sabathia, which was a bad
now how
back
many
stretch
how many
of that
of those
was rough.
now. For comparison, we're not going to even call it a 10-year deal because Judge isn't getting 10 years.
No.
He's already over 30.
Correct.
So these guys that are signing 10-year deals, they were in their
20s,
late 20s
right.
at the time. So it's the equivalent of a 10-year deal for Judge because now he loses those 2 years. So understanding the service time, blah, blah,
Scoop
blah.
says Scott DJ for 4 more, by the way.
So they got, wow, that's
he
long
signed
time.
a 5-year, $100 million extension.
Right.
But
year.
he didn't sign a 5-year, $270 million extension.
No.
So it's a big difference given $20 million.
Judge is going to get $300 million somewhere north of.
No, I agree.
You know, it's just
maybe not 300. If
I'll put money on that. That Judge gets 300 or more.
If it's a 6-year deal, he's not getting 300 mil.
Well, no, of course not, because that would be like $40 million a year.
I don't think he's going to get more than 6. Maybe 7.
I'm telling you, I think that's the breaking point.
Maybe.
That this contract right here is supposed to set Judge up for the rest of his life.
In baseball, and we could obviously you have to be a stud to even get considered for a 10-year deal, right? There was A-Rod's contract he did play well through 10 years, but when he signed, he came into the league when he was 18. So when you're signing your first deal, A-Rod was still under 27.
Right.
Pujols, 10-year massive deal with the Angels. What happened? When Pujols didn't make the postseason once.
He fell off. Janine Machad coming in right now saying if he gets a championship, it's worth it. The last couple of years won't matter.
I'm all for it, but
I think that was the CC Sabathia
I'm all
reference.
for it. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't give a shit if the Yankees sign Judge to a 20-year deal. That has zero bearing on me. Sign him. But I just understand that if they're going to play at some point or another, and understanding how the luxury tax works, the Yankees are now in year 1 of going over the luxury tax. In 4 years, they're going to be looking to get underneath the luxury tax. Otherwise, they're going to be paying $70 million a year to nobody. It's going to be going to the other team so they could have a nice wedding for their daughter. It's not going to go into improving baseball one bit, which is another story altogether. But it's just they can't give him a 10-year deal because then they're never going to be able to get under or an 8-year deal. They're never going to get under the luxury tax. And then you know how it works exponentially.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying 80% or 90% of what your salary going over is.
Yeah. Well,
if anybody
we'll
understood that, I'll give you a buck.
The next chat. What are you, Jimmy now?
Jimmy.
Oh my God. The next chapter of the Judge stuff goes down Friday. So we'll figure out which way the arbiter takes this thing. And then we'll go and move on from there. But again, there's a strong to quite strong possibility that Judge walks. And this is the Yankees' fault. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Moving on. So Deshawn Watson, little more drama. Nobody really wants to talk about Deshaun Watson anymore, more than I do. Trust me, I'm over this clown. However, that's what I meant. I'm over this clown. So right now, 24 civil cases were originally out there. 20 have been settled, meaning there are still 4 that are going to court, trial, whatever the hell happens, right? Now, my question is this, and this is not trying to stir the pot in any way, shape, or form in this regard. The judge that's been appointed to but give the penalty to Deshaun Watson for the NFL season is a female. Do you think that has any bearing on the length and extreme circumstances that this can, if it's like this, I think this matters. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to tread on those waters, but it matters. If a female's out there knowing that you did this to all these females, what makes you think that this extreme penalty will not be less than 1 year's time?
It's not going to be less than 1 year. And I don't think that I don't think it has any bearing for two reasons. One is that show me a male that's not disgusted by what Deshaun Watson's accused of. Right. So it's not like there's like, she's going to be harder on it than a guy would.
Well aware of that.
A judge is a judge. And if it's a good judge, then it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't factor anything in. It should just be completely by the law.
And I agree with that.
And if that's what we're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the judge being a good judge, it shouldn't matter, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get a year. It could be my niece that could be the judge and he would still get a year. It could also be my nephew. He'd still get a year. So okay. Guy, girl, it doesn't matter.
So we'll see. That decision supposedly will be coming within the next 2 weeks to let the Browns know and let the Texans know. And like the Texans are going to also be not on the hook per se, but they're already linked for the whole NDA thing, right? So they're involved too. So they're waiting for this decision as well. They don't want to lose any draft picks, especially the ones they just got for Watson. You know what I mean? So this whole double-edged sword can actually happen.
I don't think the Texans are at risk to get in any trouble whatsoever.
Okay, we'll see. Moving on, the New York Rangers back in the news because why not? The NHL Stanley playoffs are moving on. Game 4 is tonight between the Lightning and the Avalanche. But more importantly, our boy, Igor Shesterkin gets himself the Vezina. I'm very excited about that. I'm very happy about that. He is now listed as the best goalie in hockey. The drama, however, Nick, you can chime in on this one, is at MVP, where Austin Matthews got the hardware. No Connor McDavid? That's not a thing? Like, how do we break that down?
So you pretty much break that down by, Austin Matthews finished the regular season with 60 goals, 46 assists, 106 points, and finished the playoffs with 7 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. So that's
question.
Yes.
Is hockey like they factor in the postseason?
No.
I'm just reading off his stats for the whole year.
I legitimately
no, they do not. No major sport does that.
No, but so I mean, Austin Matthews did also come home with the Rocket Richard Trophy, which is the most goals scored in the regular season. So he did get that, but I think it all comes down to the goal scoring ability that he has over McDavid. Because when you look at McDavid's stats, McDavid, I mean, granted, this is still a gross stat. Put away 44 goals, had 79 assists, and had 123 points.
You funded crickets.
So
I mean, no offense to you, you're spitting what I need you to spit.
It was more or less like a my thing. I had to deliver that. That was what I was looking for. People when Dave was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Anyway,
all right. So
in any event,
Nick, my apologies, buddy. Couldn't pass up the opportunity for a joke.
Got Kyle. I got to laugh at Kyle.
All right, look, when I throw you up the lob like that, you got to slam it home. All right.
There you go, buddy.
He's a team player.
So, but no, honestly, the two McDavid and Matthews were going back and forth. McDavid obviously has more points. I mean, hell, he put up 123 points throughout.
Hell yeah.
That you can't really
love that button.
You can't really replicate that all the time. And the fact that he's put up over 100 points for the last few years is insane. But I think it really just comes down to Austin Matthews had more goals and was a little bit had a little bit more of an edge on that.
He's got his finger hovering around the button again. Anyway, so that goes down. Igor,
so funny.
Beautiful head of hair, by the way. He let it all flow last night. Igor wins the Vezina. Very excited about that. Quick on Mike Tomlin. Went on a podcast yesterday. The question of bringing back an Antonio Brown to the Steelers was brought up, and he said, quote, "Y'all know that ain't happening," but very put some oomph on it. And so my question to you before we move on to everything else, is AB done in football? Do you think this guy ever plays again? I don't think so either. I think we're at the point now where it's like, I don't know if he plays again. And it's crazy to say that based off his age and skill set and everything like that. But the drama and the bullshit that this guy's possessed, and I think it's over.
I don't think there's anybody desperate enough that thinks that a guy like AB coming in with the ego that he has and he's very toxic potentially for a locker room. Tom Brady couldn't keep him in line. Who in the NFL is going to keep him in line?
Nobody.
He's obviously, you look at AB's numbers, he's one of the best receivers that I've ever seen play. When you look back, you don't realize the run that AB put together in Pittsburgh.
Bro, when he was a Steeler,
it
was impossible to defend.
I'm talking about like Jerry Rice pace.
Yeah.
And I think AB is still talented enough to be able to put up crazy numbers in the league, but he's just a loose cannon. Absolute nut job.
So no more whatchamacall. No more
but
AB. No more AB.
I'll tell you this, if Antonio Brown had a podcast, which he might at this point, I'll listen. I'll 100% listen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think everybody would listen just to see what the heck, because
it's like must-see television because you just never know what's going to come out of this guy's mouth.
The biggest wild card because nobody knows what is going on.
It's actually secondhand embarrassment. It's painful to listen to him talk sometimes,
it's
very entertaining at the same time. So
anyway, all right. Also, so obviously, I want to bring up some of our wonderful sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Are you kidding? I had it and I forgot it. Son of a biatch. Anyway, no, it's not there. Anyway, that's our boy Michael Fusco over at the Fusco Insurance Agency. I had the paper. It's probably literally sitting right next to the coffee maker because I made a coffee right before the show. So it's probably sitting there. Madison, you want to grab it for me? That'd be wonderful.
It's probably not there.
It's probably not there. Piece of paper, make a left.
So if you
There
were
she
worried
is.
about your credit, blah blah. Right?
I mean, don't say blah blah. It's our
Well,
boy
I don't
Michael
know.
Fusco.
I don't know
I'm gonna
what
do
the
it right
read
now.
is.
Thank you
I
so
was
much.
Giving you.
Look at that smooth transition, by the
killing me
way.
dead air.
Finger rolled it. You guys worried about if you're running out of money in retirement or how you'll pay for long-term health care? Will your family be okay? That's the main question here. Stop worrying. Start planning. A comprehensive retirement plan gives you security for a greater control over your money. Michael Fusco can help. As president of Fusco Insurance Agency, Michael can work with you to create a comprehensive retirement plan. He'll explore using life insurance and annuities to help you build a more secure future so you can worry a little bit less now. Call 718-701-5787 to schedule your complimentary consultation. That's 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states, ladies and gentlemen. And now, of course, Gooch has something from Manscaped with Marty the Manscaped Martian guy.
That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, head on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code CHOPSPORTS to receive 20% off the entire order plus free shipping worldwide. They're introducing the Platinum Package 4.0, and it comes equipped with
all the stuff.
all the goods you need. So it's the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0 equipped with the 400K LED light for the dark underbelly of man. You have the Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner, Ultra Premium deodorant, Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, Crop Reviving ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxers, and the Shed travel bag to hold all your goods. I'm not talking about your nuts. I'm talking about your shavers.
This is
and
awesome.
yeah, so exfoliate, wash, make sure you're good to go. You get like really all that's missing is like the person.
What do you
Everything
mean?
is there. You need just all you need is one person that comes with all this to shit. All right, I'm gonna go back to the contents of the performance package or the platinum package 4.0. Head on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code SHOPSPORTS.
Do the damn thing. Thank you so much. All right, so
I really
now,
want to do a recording like at one point, so
what do you
we
mean?
could like
just
insert that
insert. Yeah,
read.
we can do that. No, but there's so much better when it's like authentic. So anyway, we're bringing up Mr. Rob Gronkowski, ladies and gentlemen. There is a retirement once again. And what you're seeing here is some highlights from the Super Bowl. So don't be alarmed. It's actually happening. All right, so Rob Gronkowski leaves again, right? So he retires for the second time. Is it permanent this time? I have no idea. Is it really it? Do you all right, need gun to your head, right? Rob Gronkowski retired. He'll never play football again. Yes? No?
He'll never play again, I don't think.
Oh, the gun goes back into the holster.
Yeah, I
okay.
don't.
Oh,
Why,
because
so you think he's gonna not play either?
yeah. I don't think I think he's done this time.
He's been busy these days doing all these annoying ass fucking commercials. Have you seen a Gronk commercial that's good? Like,
But
any
I
of
think
them,
that's the shtick at
I
this
understand,
point, that he's
but-
just a cornball.
it's rough. But Gronk is making a lot of money, not playing football. There's no reason to put himself through that. I watched Gronk like collapse along broken ribs last year. There's no need for the guy that's accomplished what he's accomplished. It's not like he's not allowed to get touched out there like Tom or any other quarterback for that matter. I'm not just taking shots at Brady.
Yes, he is.
I'm really not. Quarterbacks could play a lot longer. A tight end is asked to do a lot out there. And
Yeah, I mean-
understanding they didn't really ask him to block all that much last year, but it's because his health was an issue. So his health is an issue. He's got how many rings? 4, 3?
He's got a bunch.
He's got a bunch of rings. There's no reason for him to do this anymore.
For references, Gronk plays now officially 11 years, 621 catches, was 10th all time on the tight ends list, 92 touchdowns, which is third all time on tight ends, and 9,286 yards, which is fifth. Fantasy rankings wise, according to what I read before, only Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, Antonio Gates, and Shannon Sharp scored more points all time as a tight end than Gronk. Gronk finishes above a guy like Jimmy Graham, Olsen, Kelsey, Ozzie Newsome, and then Vernon Davis as well. He's got all the Super Bowls. He kind of moonwalks into Canton. Yes.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
a sure,
100%.
Yeah,
surefire. I would say probably first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the greatest tight end of all time.
Well, I was going to ask you. Well, I think yesterday or 2 days ago when we were going over like the GOAT of like each team, we talked about Tony Gonzalez. Like he's obviously not as good as Gonzalez. I mean, that goes without saying, right? He's also not as good as I think Antonio Gates, another crazy good athletic tight end. I put him in the ranks of a Jason Witten type, but Witten lost a step very quick. But he was a target machine. He was a not much of a yak guy, but Gronk was. That's why I might even give the nod to Gronk over Witten.
Gronk I think Gronk is like the equivalent of like Shaq to
Okay.
tight ends, whereas a guy like Hakeem, people don't know really where to rank them. Shaq was just so dominant, but when they played each other, Hakeem seemed to got the better of him.
Mhm.
Maybe it was he was on better teams, different points in his career, but nonetheless, Gronk changed the game in a different way than a lot of other guys, whereas he could catch a 6-yard out or go over the middle and just like knock 4 guys out on this way to the end zone. Gronk was a dynamic guy, but he couldn't stay healthy as much as some of the other guys.
That's another thing.
And the inconsistencies, I think, knock him down a peg. But really, we're splitting hairs when we get to the top 5 of tight end position. They're all great. I don't want to. I think Witten has been great, but I think what Witten did lack was that dynamic playmaking ability.
Sure.
But he was just a super consistent third down guy, which when you're talking about a tight end in the NFL, you're really not asking him to be a wide receiver, especially in the era that Witten started his career.
Well, now it's a different story. Now you're looking at guys like Darren Waller and Travis Kelce lining
very
up in the
different,
slot,
very
you know,
different. So Witten was a guy that didn't have to come off the field ever, largely didn't miss many games. Shannon Sharp, to me, I think still is the one guy that you could – you see a little bit of Gronk, you see a little bit of Tony G. You could pretty much put him in any era and he would have dominated. Like Shannon Sharp would be a really, really good player right now. Not to say that the other guys wouldn't, but I just think the dynamic, all those other things involved. I know that you're not a fan of his.
No.
But
That's not
Shannon
true. I'm
Sharp-
not a fan of his work on FS1.
Yeah, but Shannon Sharp to me is the greatest tight end of all time.
Really?
I think
You're
if you
putting him
put
at the GOAT status.
numbers
Even over
aside,
Tony G.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I think
Interesting.
what he brought to the table was a little bit different with his talking and everything else. He was a total package to me.
All right. Well, again, Gronk, the other question I have, maybe you guys can all chime in on this one. Madison, what do you think Rob Gronkowski does next? What is Rob Gronkowski going to do with his life? As she's like, oh, the mic's up there. What's Rob Gronkowski going to do now that football's over?
I honestly don't know. Maybe he will talk sports like
So
every other
as
guy.
an analyst,
Yeah.
I doubt it.
he's
I
a
think-
buffoon. That's
yeah,
the problem.
I
He's
think
like
he'll,
a
I
dope.
think he'll do guest appearances. He won't ever get a job as an analyst.
We saw him
because-
go on Fox, and it was just like, oh my god, I can't listen to this guy.
See, that's the thing though. He brings that comedic relief to.
Yeah, but do you need that?
Yeah, but that's you don't need it.
Honestly, sometimes
What you
those-
have with Gronk is going to be he'll come on the shows. He'll be like if there's a Tampa Patriots game, they'll invite him to the set, things like that. But they're not going to have Gronk. He's just too much of a loose cannon when we're talking about national TV.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, maybe a
I would
return
love
to
to
the
see it.
WWE
You're
is
going
in
to see
Gronk's
Gronk
future.
do a little bit of everything. He'll be like a Pat McAfee that doesn't have.
He doesn't have the
show.
gift of gab, though. You know
That's
what I mean?
I'm saying.
It's very hard.
But he'll do a little bit of this. He'll be in the WWE.
You know where he belongs? I'll tell you where he's going to go.
Where?
Ridiculousness.
No, he'll be. He'll
How
do
about
like
that?
a reality. He'll be on Bravo or something. There'll be some weird
sure
reality
Rob
TV
Dudek
show
will
with
take him
Gronk.
over there at MTV.
That's what I'm saying. Like
He'd be a
MTV,
great
by the
fit.
way, not a total sidebar, but like MTV, how bad is that network, by the way? Like there's nothing left. It's just repeats of ridiculousness and Jersey Shore, and that's it. Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't know.
But anyway, so hats off to Rob Gronkowski again. We'll see if that actually lasts. We both are in agreement that we think it's probably done. And Scoop's coming in saying, going back to the WWE. I mean, look, that's the perfect place for him, right? I mean, if he really wants to train to be a wrestler or a personality over there, I'm sure they would take him with open arms, or AEW or Impact or whatever. He can do whatever he wants. He's a free agent to be in life. So anyway, it
Pulling
is.
it up.
It is time. It is so time. And it's so time to talk fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It is mock draft season. The mocks will start. The mocks will begin literally. I mean, they began in May, according to this ESPN article. I mean, there's mocks that are done literally like as soon as the season's over, people will start doing mock drafts. Now that we're in late June, going to be July, there are some crazy ass leagues out there that start their leagues in July, right? Which is just, again, asinine. And then there's August. And then before you know it, boom, you got yourself a regular season and we're here. So ESPN put out a mock draft in May. So early May. And this is what they had to do. And we got some comment coming in from Facebook. I think Gronk is coming back. He probably doesn't want to go to training camp and do that grind in Tampa. I mean, it's not a total play, you know, but whatever.
I don't know.
In any event. So let's go to this mock draft, shall we? So the overall consensus number one pick this year, I mean, you said it too, Gooch. You said when you were at the store, you looked to your right, and all of a sudden, who'd you see?
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. So it seems to me that Jonathan Taylor is the overall consensus, PPR, standard, whatever. He's the guy. Like, he's going to get the bulk of the carries, if not all the carries in Indianapolis. With now an older quarterback in Matt Ryan, he will be able to sling it. I think Matt Ryan has a great year with this, but I do think, based off the offensive line of what it's done and how it's been built, that the Colts will be a run-first team no matter what. That means volume for Mr. Taylor. He's the consensus overall number one. Join my PPB league. AJ wants me to join something, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, but maybe you can explain. Scoop saying, Taylor, carry me to the Chop Sports Championship. That's right. We had when I tell you this, Nick, do you play fantasy football?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a 16-team league, but 2 of them. Then we had the winners of the 2 16-team leagues combine points to go play in a championship.
We're not bragging.
We're not bragging about this
because it was fucking
horrible.
terrible.
It was just horrible. Anyway, points per pass block. Oh, you're a piece of garbage. So if that's the case, Zeke's an overall number 1 pick. Thank you very much. But anyway, into the real life of fantasy sports.
Internet.
What, you're getting smoked over there?
Anyway,
we're at number 1 is the overall consensus. I believe it's going to be Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Then number 2, I'm even I'm discrediting number 2 here.
Because this is not a good number 2. And
are you seeing the article too?
Yeah, I haven't pulled them on.
Okay,
so I don't agree with this because he has not stayed healthy.
Yeah, this one's
an entire season.
This one's rough. It's Christian McCaffrey
over last year.
It's Christian McCaffrey right now, and he's listed as the overall consensus number 2 pick. He has not played a full season. He has not played, or maybe he has, but it just doesn't seem like he has. But I don't know about this. I feel like he falls. He'll probably still wind up in the top 10, Gooch, you would assume, or top 12, first round. But I don't know about number 2.
I'm not even touching Christian McCaffrey one bit. I don't care if he's there in the second round. I'm still not taking him. It's not to say that I don't think he has the ability to be the number 1 player overall. It's just I'm not taking that risk this early in fantasy football. It's not to say that if you lose your first pick, the season's over, because it's definitely not, but it is very, very damaging. You're going to have some hole damage there.
There's going to be some deep waters that you got to climb out of.
I'm not a McCaffrey guy. His usage is so high still over the last 4 years, and he hasn't played in 2. So to give you an indicator,
right.
I said the 2 years that he did get the ball 400 times at his size, even in his face, he just looks a lot older to me now. I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either.
The injury is imminent. We could all agree on that.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, that seems to be the thing. Now, rounding out the top 12, we'll just roll off anybody that kind of jumps off at the charts of you.
So look, what we'll do, because there is a lot that I kind of want to go over and touch on a little bit here. What I'll do is I'm just going to name off the rest of the first round, and this is a 10-team draft, so we're going to do it by 10s, even though most.
Why don't we go into just the next 2 of the next round?
Because then I'm going to have to do the next 4 of the next round and then the next 6 of the next. I just want to we'll do 10, 10, okay. 10, right? It'll be easier that way. At third, Austin Eckler. I don't disagree with this. I'm also not a big fan of his, but the situation that he's in right now, he's going to catch the ball a ton. He's going to get handed the ball a little bit less than your average lead back, but the usage in the passing game makes up for that more than anything. Okay. And the offensive line, it might be the best in football this year. And the quarterback. Okay. Number 4, we got Cooper Kupp. Number 5, Derrick Henry. Number 6,
so are you cool with Kupp being the first receiver?
Yeah, I'm cool with him being the first receiver. I'm not taking him first still. Number 7, Najee Harris. Number 8, Jamar Chase. Number 9, Dalvin Cook. And number 10, Joe Mixon. I don't really disagree with any one player in the first round being in the first round except for McCaffrey.
You think McCaffrey falls out of the first round?
I personally don't think he's a first round pick. I know that's not going to take place. He's going to go in the first round in every single league.
It's just a matter of where.
And I'm going to be glad that somebody else does it because it'll push somebody to me.
Now, look, you're looking at that list of 10, right? Let's just say, I can't say if you had the number 1 pick. No, who's your favorite out of that? Who do you think is going to break out of that top 10?
So Jonathan Taylor is the clear-cut number 1 to me. Yeah. And if I have the second pick this year, I'm going out on a limb and I'm taking Najee Harris. I don't think that it's really that big of a reach, seeing that he's going 7th here. I think Najee Harris has a very good chance to get the ball every single play this year. And he's 230. You're looking at the rest of the backs. They're 5'10", 210. He's
a big boy.
He's just a different breed. Yeah. And he's clearly the guy that they're going to give the ball to a lot. I watched him separate Jair Alexander's shoulder with his thigh on a tackle attempt. The guy's just a beast. They're going to use him a ton. The quarterback situation is up in the air, so we'll probably get a bunch of stacked boxes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to matter because he could catch the ball and the sheer size.
Yeah.
So
I agree. All right, so that's one guy that
I
you're
do think that it's a little
targeting.
too receiver heavy in the first round.
Yeah, because now, just to not to cut you off there, but like running backs that fell out of the first round because of the receiver heavy is guys like Kamara, Javonte Williams, Leonard Fournette. I feel like is ranked a little high here. DeAndre Swift. It's like very hard for me to get behind any Detroit Lion right now. It's just the way it is.
Me and you disagree wholeheartedly on that one. I think if there's a guy in
Swift
Detroit,
he was the guy last year too, and he didn't produce.
Yeah, but he did. If you look at his games that he got when he got healthy, he had a shoulder injury that was going on. But if you look at that's the problem. It's the injury risk. But you're going to have that's inherent with every single back. That's really any of them.
Except Zeke, he don't get hurt.
I mean, he plays hurt. And
he plays hurt, and it's not very beneficial.
We're going to talk about Zeke maybe in 2 or 3 days when we get to round 10.
Wow.
So, like that, right?
That was good. I'll give you that one.
I think that Kamara's dropping out of the first round is understood because you're only going to get him for about week 7 on, probably. I think it's.
You think they're going to nail him?
I think it's going to be 6 games. I mean, he knocked some dude out and beat him up really bad. It wasn't like the
some people forget
the details surrounding the Kamara situation are a little grim. At least that, to my understanding. I'm sure there's way more details that we all don't know about. But Kamara being dropped out of the first round is understandable. And I just do think that with the offensive line and their commitment to the run game and Dan Campbell, I think DeAndre Swift, if he does stay healthy, you could see him vault into the early first round.
I think
talent-wise.
I like that. I really, I mean, you were a big advocate for this other guy last year, and the running game has not changed. Javonte Williams is the guy this year. I think that this guy in year 2 is going to have an incredible season. I don't like tipping my hand too much. I'm in fantasy drafts all over the place, but Javonte Williams is going to be a guy that I circle heavy on all of my draft boards.
Yeah,
I like him a lot this year.
I'm looking at I'm not going to say it because I hope I pick 10th this year. I'll just say that.
I mean, what you're not giving away. Just speak. Who are you looking at?
Like I would take Javonte Williams. If I had the last pick of the first round, he's not getting past.
That's what I'm saying. Like he might jump.
And honestly, I could say the same thing possibly about DeAndre Swift. I wouldn't be bad. I would be very happy if I get the 12th pick and I get Swift and Javonte Williams. They could both end up being top 5 picks going into next year.
I like it. So now when we look at we keep going deeper and deeper, like they got round 2, they got Devontae Adams technically listed as the 11th overall pick. So if you're in a 12-team league, Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs both still are drafted in the first round in normal leagues. In this, it's a 10-team league, so it's different. But do you agree with the Adams hype, considering he doesn't have Rodgers anymore? He does have Carr, and Carr is a very capable quarterback.
I mean,
clearly not as talented as Rodgers.
Devontae Adams, his body of work speaks for itself. I don't think it's going to matter. Even the games where Rodgers has been absent, Devontae Adams still managed to put up decent fantasy numbers in those games. It is a little telling that they finally did drop him below. And same thing with Tyreek Hill. I guess it's the new faces in new places. But Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are now getting their respect as top 3 receivers, which I think that
we've made that determination last year.
Guard is, well, not really, because we're talking about Cooper Kupp and Devontae as like really the 1 and 1A last year.
So you're dropping Devontae overall, not in so much fantasy rankings, but like top 5 receivers in the league. Do you still think he's 1, 2?
No. I think Devontae Adams is the best receiver in football. But I do think that there's a chance.
Justin Jefferson, production-wise,
Justin Jefferson, I think is better than Cooper Kupp.
Ooh. Interesting.
A little bit.
All right. So now as we keep moving on with this mock draft, guys that you didn't mention at the back of the second round will be your Tyreek Hills with a new quarterback.
Way more accurate Tua
Tagovailoa. Well, it's not that hard.
Say Giannis's name.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously. All right. Anyway, CeeDee Lamb is one of the receivers that stick out to me. He's being ranked above guys like T. Higgins and a couple other receivers, not many. Keenan Allen, like he falls in that category. We don't really know what to expect out of. I mean, from everything you read, he's ready to be the next number 1 guy.
I find it hard to believe that there's going to be 9 receivers taken in the first 20 picks.
No, but here's the thing: you ready for the back end of the 3 or the middle of the 3 guys that to me, are first round talent guys. Like if you really want to take a shot, and I believe somebody mentioned it in the chat, Nick Chubb coming in at 26th overall.
Yeah,
Chubb is a dog, bro. He's an absolute dog. And I think that he has the same success that he's had. And I know that the Kareem Hunt stuff scares people because, again, you got to worry about splitting and you got to worry about, getting kind of what do they call it? Vultured? No. What do you call it?
I think that this
what do you
draft,
call it when it's they go inside the 4 and they bring somebody else in and the guy scores?
vultured.
Vultured? Yeah, okay. So I said the right thing. So anyway, yes, Nick Chubb being back here. David Montgomery, which you're an advocate for, as far as having a better year.
Not so much. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you said it last week.
I've been high on Montgomery, but going into this year, Chicago is just abysmal. Their offensive line sucks. Justin Fields is going to run the ball a lot more than you would like a quarterback to if you're owning David Montgomery, because their run game is going to revolve around the read option. So half of the run plays are going to just be decided by Justin Fields. What's he going to do at the line of scrimmage? It definitely, when you have a running quarterback, I think it does take away from the ability to run the ball effectively in fantasy terms. That's why, if anything, I'll bump J.K. Dobbins down a notch too, because I feel like that he'll get hurt a little bit by that as
year,
well.
boy. I think me, you, and AJ were very heavy on J.K. Dobbins.
I'm still pretty high on Dobbins. If he didn't get hurt, I think he would have had a really good year. He averaged 6 yards a carry. He had like 10 touchdowns in his rookie year.
I want to talk about the quarterbacks for a second, okay? Because it seems to me, based off of this, it seems to me that middle of the 4th round is when you can find, in the 10-team draft, it's the first pick in the 4th round. But if I'm being real, it looks like middle of the pack, 4th round, as you shift guys down. Josh Allen is the number 1 quarterback taken in the 4th. To me, and I know this is like going against most people out there, like get your running backs, get your get your receivers, get all these skill position guys. To me, if you have a quarterback that is like top 3 in the league on your team, that's one position that you'll never, ever, ever have to worry about for the remainder of the season. I don't care what running back you take in the 1st round. There are chances that that guy could be stuffed for a week or stuffed for 2 weeks. Quarterbacks, if you get the best of the best, I feel like your team is going to be successful no matter what. Like, you're always in the running, like having like a top 5 pick in baseball, like Ohtani, you're always going to get a big number stat out of him, whether he's pitching or not.
I'm here to, like,
you're going to pour cold water on my quarterback take?
On your quarterback take. I just don't, I don't even look at quarterback. Like, if there's an anomaly where you're sitting there in the 4th round and Josh Allen's still available, maybe you reach and take him. But I don't like even looking at the quarterbacks. Sometimes the draft will dictate this, and you're like, well, I have my eyes on, if you're missing out on the top 1 or 2 guys that are clearly the best, and if you're not going in with the strategy of taking one of those guys, it's not even an issue. Like, when Josh Allen gets picked, I'm like, I wasn't going after him anyway. But when you start tiering quarterbacks out, that's what I'll do. I'll say, you know what? I want
just before you tier him out,
one of these 3 through 10 guys I'll take.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Before you tier him out, it looks to me that Josh Allen is the guy. It's almost like a Jonathan Taylor situation where he's the guy, and then the drop off all in the 6th and 7th round. You're looking at Mahomes, Herbert, Brady, Lamar, Hurts, Dak.
I'll
Burrow.
take Jalen Hurts and he'll finish 5th overall.
You had Jalen Hurts last year and it didn't work out.
Dave, what about? Look, how many fantasy leagues did you draft a good quarterback in that you didn't? How many leagues did you win last year?
I was in the championship of 1.
I don't ask that. I asked how many leagues did you win, because it didn't work out for you either. If you took a quarterback,
yeah, but I was in the play. I made the championship.
Dave. Like,
I'm just stating the facts here.
We were in one league.
I had Dak in every single one of my leagues.
We were in one league together, right? So to judge me saying that I've had plenty of success, and taking quarterback early, to me, when you only need 1, that's the reason. So it's like running backs go at a premium because you need to start 2 and then a flex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Receivers go, but in terms of quarterbacks, if you list the top 10 or top 12 quarterbacks, then you look at 13 and you're looking at Trey Lance. You're looking at guys like last year, Joe Burrow was going in like the 11th or 12th round, so
he's still basically bottom of this list.
Where's Stafford go?
He's not even on this list. That's crazy.
So that's
crazy.
That's me pouring the cold water. I'm not saying that.
No, you're not. It's not that you're pouring cold water. It says that you could find a lot of value late.
You get value late at quarterback, and that's why I'm like, you know what? In the 3rd round, Josh Allen. What's the difference between Josh Allen and, let's say, Aaron Jones in round 3? Right. So if you have Aaron Jones in round 3 and you have Josh Allen in what running back are you going to get in round 12? That's the equivalent of, like, so you
Saquon Barkley.
So subtract Josh Allen's.
Hey, don't shit on
Saquon
Barkley.
So go like this. So
Saquon Barkley.
So you subtract Josh Allen's point total, or let's say Jalen Hurts went in like round 10, 12 last year.
All right.
You take what Josh Allen did last year, and then you take what Jalen Hurts did. Subtract Jalen Hurts total from Josh Allen. That's the difference. So if you take a running back in round 3, as opposed to Josh Allen, what running back would you get in round 12 that's going to make up that difference. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it right, but I think everybody understands the point.
I think I got what you're talking about.
That's why you tier things out.
But and people tier things out all the time. And that's fine. I just think that if you landed I want to say early, but fourth, I want to say late third. If I'm sitting here at the back end of my third, right, and if I'm very satisfied with my first 2 picks, meaning I either went running back, receiver, 2 running backs, receivers, you could just draft for days down the road,
Yeah,
right?
and like even
So
guys
if you
like
start,
Kirk
let's just
Cousins,
say, all right, I'll give you an example.
15th best.
I'll give you an
16th.
example. Just you're the 12th pick in the draft, and you wind up with your Javonte Williams and DeAndre Swift, right? And you're the last pick of the 3rd round, and then first pick of the 4th. You're like trying to tell me that you wouldn't snag Josh Allen right there?
No, I probably first of all, it's not likely that he's going to be there at the end of the 3rd round.
Well, according to this thing, he's into the 4th.
Well, this is also a 10-team league.
But I'm saying I moved guys down in my head where
So,
it's in the 4th.
I'm still not, no, because
Okay.
at that point I'm desperate for a receiver or 2 and then a flex. I
yeah,
think
but those
that-
receivers are so many. There's so many.
not a number 1 caliber one.
Yeah, but you can get. You were talking
You're
about
never-
numbers before about like subtracting and differences and all that shit. You can get 3 number 2s and still get the same production that you would have gotten if you get the 1 Devontae or the 1. You know what I mean? You could stack your boys and still land Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. I really won't put Mahomes in that list.
still every single time I've ever reached and took a quarterback early, I've looked at the draft after and been like, fuck, I could have just gotten Joe Burrow in the 12th round, or I could have gotten Stafford in the 13th. And that's the reason why. It's like, what player am I missing out on in the 3rd round by taking Josh Allen? The quarterback that I'm going to get in the 12th, the difference is
Okay.
to me, I've done the math over and over.
I
I'll
just
never take
think-
a quarterback
I
early.
think
anymore.
Allen is a little bit more versatile in terms of the quarterback position, because not only does he, obviously throw a lot of touchdowns, but he's been known to rush for a lot of
Oh yeah,
yards.
no,
and-
he almost had 1,000 yards
and
last year.
I
It was
think that's
insane.
why. I think that's why he moved up into the 4th round, because not only do you get the passing touchdowns,
Yeah,
you
but now you're
also
talking
get
about guys like Lamar Jackson too.
No, I know, but
you
at
can't
this
put
point,
those
though,
guys in the category
You
together.
can't put them in the category together. But with that question too, Lamar Jackson might not be throwing the ball as much.
I'll even do you
in-
one better. Like, if you take Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, like Mahomes will go like 2 rounds later. Like Mahomes is,
Or again, I feel like there's a difference between live drafts, like sitting around people, and then computer drafts, because then like live. I feel like once the guy goes, like once the Josh Allens of the world go, it becomes, oh shit. All right, if I want to go quarterback, I gotta go now. And here come the reaches. That's what I think happens all the time, no matter what. Like, unless you're in some crazy analytical, like 12 AJs in a league, then you won't take a quarterback until like the 10th round, and then that's whatever. You don't care. But I'm saying, if you're at my league or at Joe Angelo's league or whatever, these leagues that I've been in forever, right? And you're looking at this and you're like, well, okay, Josh Allen just went. So I'm going to grab, if I'm like 4 picks later, I'm like, yo, that's a good chance to grab Mahomes there. So I have my guy going forward as far as my QB1, no questions asked, puts up a 30 or plus. And don't get me started. I saw before, I believe Scoop said, if passing touchdowns are 6, I'm here to tell you that touchdowns of any caliber need to be 6. If you're in a league where you put 4-point touchdowns, your league is fraudulent, and I hate you.
I hate you too, Dave. Your league rules are,
Hate
we've
you.
been through this. They're from like 1910.
It's Joe Angelo's.
Oh,
What about him? He's got a
his
league.
sucks. I would
His
never.
league is amazing.
I would
Very
be in the
smart
league
dudes over there.
1 year and then I would leave because of the scoring. No, I'm kidding. I've been in plenty of terrible leagues before.
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up the top 13 quarterbacks right now, and there's not one that I wouldn't take as my starter in fantasy.
All right. Here's an idea. I got an idea. Since we have our relationship with Hater Fantasy Sports, right? Are there quarterbacks in the NFL that you're like, no way, no how would I ever draft this guy or have him on my roster? Are there any NFL caliber quarterbacks right now that you would not consider? You looking at top 13? I'm talking. Is there a guy that like?
Watson.
Well, I mean.
No, I mean, like, is there a guy at
Yes,
quarterback?
draft Deshawn Watson, and then you won't have him. That's perfect. That's actually perfect.
Justin Fields.
Fields.
But even though he might even be decent in fantasy circles this year.
How you feel about a guy like? I mean, there's no draftable Pittsburgh Steeler quarterbacks, right? You wouldn't draft Mitch Trubisky. You wouldn't draft Kenny Pickett, right? You might take a flyer on Pickett later, knowing that maybe by week 4 or 5 he's the starter, whatever. But like, Is there anybody else in the league? Daniel Jones? Would you like Daniel
Mariota?
Jones on your team? He's a walking turnover. Like
All right.
I don't like that.
He's not a walking turnover.
You're right. He's a running turnover.
No,
Whatever the
that's
case,
what
he's a
happens when you have
turnover.
a terrible offensive line. But the only other
Daniel Jones is running and he trips. Oh, remember that, Mister?
Hey, he's
Tripped up
not
a 20-yard line. You clown
Hey,
show.
nobody said he was the best athletic quarterback.
Yeah, no, he's real nimble on his feet.
but
It's hard.
Like
about
he's like, I got
Mariota?
the football. No, don't got the football anymore. He just fumbles like a man.
See, like the hater thing is almost has to be a week-to-week basis.
Correct, and that's why they are week to week.
Because it's impossible to do it that way because you have to play the matchups and you have to see
agree.
a good player that you think is going to suck. So who would I say is like the quintessential hater fantasy
MVP.
champion for this year or MVP this year? Maybe Russ.
Ooh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I just think.
Are you sure?
I think Russ
Bronco
might have lost it
Orange?
a little bit.
Let's go.
Right. Maybe
You
Aaron
sure? Let's
Rodgers.
ride,
I feel like
Broncos.
Aaron Rodgers has a potential to underperform this year in terms of his draft value. If people are expecting MVP numbers, the way he's done the last 2 years, maybe, but I just don't see them running. I see them running the ball a lot more this year, and
I can't.
they might be clinging to.
I know
a
you know
little-
your team more than I know your team, but like I can never see a Aaron Rodgers led team running more. Like
Well,
that
they
boy's
ran-
going to sling
They
it.
definitely ran the ball more than they usually did last year. So
Do you
it was
think
already
that
trending that way.
is that a contribution to a nice two-headed monster in Jones and Dillon, or is they just trying to pigeonhole? Like, bro, wait a minute.
I
You
can't
it's
wait
the
a coaching philosophy. I think
I don't think they threw it last because
LaFleur,
the homeboy won MVP.
yeah, but his numbers were down significantly from the year before. It's just that he doesn't turn it over at all. He's just so smart with the football, but his numbers weren't. I mean, it was a little bit down for everybody last year in terms of passing stats.
Not Dak. Great year. Solid year.
Anyway.
The
My
only
man.
other quarterback I bring up
It's
is
true.
you have Marcus Mariota in Atlanta, and Atlanta
Dak
really only
largely
has
underperformed last year statistically compared to what we expected.
I know he set a record for Cowboys most touchdowns in a season.
Yeah,
Totally
because,
underperformed.
Yeah, because Trey Aikman threw
I don't
31
care.
in
Now
his
you're bringing
career.
up shit just to argue.
No, I'm
Like
saying
he didn't underperform.
Bro.
He actually had a really good season. Like a
in
really good
fantasy,
season.
we're talking about fantasy football.
My
right
man,
now.
I went to the championship in a league because of Dak Prescott scoring 35, 40
I
a
had
game.
Dak in 2 leagues. I didn't go to the championship.
You must have drafted
I
shit.
won't,
So-
I won't talk about the quarterbacks I drafted
led
in my
my
one
teams.
league because the quarterbacks I drafted were. I went to the playoffs. Don't know how I made
Are we
the
going to take
playoffs.
this kid's money this year, by the way?
Was Jameis Winston, and then he
Oof.
went down, and then I had Taysom Hill and Ryan Tannehill, and I somehow went to the
I'm gonna
playoffs.
look at
Good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you. That's
I don't know
awesome.
how.
That's another one. Ryan Tannehill. Very underappreciated, but you lose a guy like A.J. Brown, you bring in a rookie, great. But again, how much he might underperform tremendously this
Who?
year.
Tannehill.
Yeah.
I think
And you
he'll
got a
be-
guy like Derrick
He'll
Henry.
be
You're
like
going to
the
hand the ball off.
20th best fantasy. He'll be the low end number 2 fantasy quarterback.
Never mind. I checked my
Interesting.
team. I know exactly how I went to the playoffs.
How'd you go to the playoff? Who'd you have?
I had Taylor and Devontae Adams.
Well, there you go. What league is that? I wanted on that league. Oh my god!
I
What is
mean,
it,
any-
5-team league.
that's standard. I mean, like if you got Jonathan, if
Taylor
you had the
probably
10th
slipped, yeah.
or 11th pick, then that's easy. You could get that if you're lucky. I mean,
What
and
pick
it
did
worked
you
out
have?
that way.
Let's see.
Oh, now he's digging deep. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. But anyway, fantasy football obviously sparks conversation time and time again, and it's time. It's literally time to start doing your research. It's time to start doing some of the other things that fantasy football brings. Again, if you're into a new challenge, there is Hater Fantasy Sports, and that's something that I'm very interested in this year. They had a soft open last couple weeks ago, baseball. I won that, so obviously I'm a guru there. But when it comes to fantasy football, picking the worst player of the week, it's interesting. It's not as easy as it looks. So get on over to haterfantasysports.com. But yeah, so that's our fantasy football jargon for this morning.
I'm gonna hit you guys all tomorrow with like some crazy Dak Prescott stats in terms of his ADP.
If you
and-
can't come up
and
with
how
it like that, then it doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, you just
You're
said
gonna
that you
deep
won your
dive on
league.
Dak?
You told me
Why?
that you won your league with Dak, and then you said like 20 minutes ago that I asked you if you won any leagues. You said no, I took second. So you didn't win your league with Dak because you took second. So
I got there and I split the money, so that's a win for me.
either way.
And I didn't get the hardware. That's the only thing. Danny has the trophy on his mantle.
Oof.
All right, I found
What?
my
So,
draft.
it's a brotherly split, so I guess you did kind of win.
Right.
You
It was a main
won
event.
money,
Main
but-
attractions never
but
happened
still,
before.
Dak underperformed his draft value because I took him early, and he definitely got
So he
outplayed.
he underperformed your draft
No,
value.
he underperformed his draft value, his ADP. Like where people drafted him, and then where other quarterbacks were drafted, clearly outperformed this draft value. I'm not talking about like I think Dak sucks. I would take Dak. When I said I'd take any one of them, Dak was on the list, but I'm just not taking him in the 4th round or 5th round or 6th round.
Okay.
I had Dak last year, the year before, and that ended terribly for me. But that was also because that was the year that he.
Well, that's what I went
shredded
into.
his
I went
leg.
into thinking that I was going to get like 500 yards a game.
5th in touchdowns. Let's just see here. It's about 7th, only 7th in yards. So I mean, look, he didn't have a bad year. But yeah, I mean, guys like yardage wise, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Stafford, they all put up bigger numbers.
It's. I'm just saying he underperformed his draft value.
Dak's still the guy.
That's it. All right.
There he is. Yeah, Danny finally chiming in, coming in out of left field, basically knowing that we're talking about championship value. Championships, he's got the mantle. He's got the trophy on the mantle. Well, I'm taking it back this year, baby, bro. Sorry. It's coming home. Literally, again, sort of just going back to dad's house. So, I mean, that's usually where it stays anyway. But anyway, that's the show today.
Fantasy gets the blood
it does.
flowing.
It does.
Right?
And that's why it's, you know what it is? It's not just fantasy. It's just football.
Yeah.
Football does this to, well, I can't say everybody. It's just me and Gooch. Like, it does it to us. I don't know how uncomfortable people feel at home when we start going at it. But again, it's all.
Oh, God.
It's all
Get over it. The fuck.
In any event, we want to thank you guys for joining. Please like the video as you're watching this. It helps us out tremendously. We have ourselves another busy day today. Tomorrow, we're going. I told Madison I get to take her on a field trip. Where are we going, Madison?
Costco.
Costco. We're going to Costco to shop for the barbecue on Sunday. We're excited. I hope you guys can all make it out. I actually invited a couple more people last night when I got my plates finally for my car. It was May. My temporary plates on my new car ended on like Memorial Day, and I was just like, yeah, I'll get my plates. And I just every time, never had time. I just never had time.
That gold card.
I do have that gold card. I do. So shout out to Mike Harris, my man, who, by the way, is providing tables and tents and all that stuff. So shout out to everybody getting involved with the party. We're really excited about it. It's getting closer. It's a couple days away. Weather's looking great. So be sure to come on down, have a good time, drink some beers, eat some hot dogs and hamburgers and pizza, because ultimately I will be ordering pizza. If there is no pizza truck, there will be a pizza delivered to Merrill Park. Plenty of pizzas delivered to Merrill Park. I'll do that myself if I have. I mean, I'm going to have to.
I don't think anybody's going to be I wonder if Dave wants a slice right now. Let me order a pie.
I think Barry is bringing, bonus mom Barry is bringing the pretzels, those pretzel dishes from Pretzel Factory. The greatest invention maybe of all time. Like, who decided to do that? First of all, they started at the movies. And I'm like, wow, these are amazing. And then Pretzel Factory was like, hold my beer. I'm about to make this whole thing a franchise.
You put Pretzel Factory over Auntie Anne's?
Auntie Anne's is fantastic.
Auntie Anne's gets me sick a lot.
Oh,
you know why? Because I eat the Auntie Anne's and then I get like the pure cup of sugar that's known as their strawberry lemonade. I'm just like, this is amazing. And then like,
I don't think
I'm
it's
like,
the pretzel there.
Fuck.
You ever get you ever really want to get gross? I know Dave's out on this one, but get like those disgusting pretzel hot dogs.
Dude, you know what's worse? Has any of us, and I've not done this, have any of us been intoxicated enough to go to 7-Eleven and get a hot dog or a slice of pizza at the end of the night?
Slice of pizza, definitely. Hot dog, no fucking shot.
No,
not at 7-Eleven.
I've never gotten a hot dog, but I've probably gotten a slice of pizza once or twice.
Definitely a slice.
Can't say.
Definitely no hot dogs. So the only hot dog that I'm eating is burnt on my own
AJ Bascone, this is how serious it gets. He goes, I will off a small village for some pretzel bites right now. So that's how good pretzel bites are.
That's why cinnamon sugar.
Dude, that's just a heart attack and just stomach ache waiting to happen. But it's funny because every time you go to the
mall just for the pretzels.
By the way, you can add that.
I'm pissed. My mom took out all
Madison,
all the
you can add that to our field trip. We're going to go to the mall after Costco and get Auntie Anne's.
Sounds good.
By the way, that's what we're going to do.
Jimmy's talking about a tuna sandwich from.
Oh my god, that is by far. Oh my god, that is rough times to do that.
Tuna sandwich and a hard-boiled egg from 7-Eleven.
Oh my god,
you're just asking for it.
Yeah, dude, that is not.
That point,
I am not well even thinking about it.
At that point, I'd rather buy one of those freaking Lunchables over that crap.
I mean,
Lunchables.
Sign me up. I'll eat a Lunchable.
I mean, the pizza Lunchables.
Dude, I think I was the only one, and maybe because I had the Lunchables at home, that like I actually put them in the microwave and like melted the cheese. Some psychopaths out there are literally just putting the paste of the cheese and then just sprinkling on the little mozzarella and they're just eating it as is. I was like, no, man, melt the goddamn cheese.
I don't know who would do that.
You did too?
What?
Or are you just making fun of me?
No, I did not heat it up in the microwave. I meant I was the person that just ate it without.
Oh,
making
you're a
anything.
psychopath. Disgusting.
What am I gonna do? I'm sitting at the lunch table with a pizza.
Have
Lunchable.
your mom or dad cook them and then put them in a Tupperware. No, I'm kidding. That's not how I did it. I only got a chance to enjoy Lunchables as like an older kid when I was like making my own lunch at home, I guess. And that goes along with the Elios in the microwave.
An older kid that, so you mean an adult?
Well, Scoop still eats Lunchables.
So you definitely
Are you in the chat?
You mean adult, right, Dave? Like
I'm
when
an
I was
adult.
an older kid when I wasn't in school anymore and I was able to eat lunch at home during the day. So an adult. Dave's eating Lunchables as an adult.
All right. That'll do it. That'll do
That
it.
is
My
good.
adult ass is taking myself back to business, and we will cover all this. So tomorrow on the show, we're going to do a mock draft for the NFL. I'm kidding. I'm sure there'll be more stuff. We'll have the results of game 4, which again, if you want results of game 4 of the Stanley Cup
when
playoffs.
Colorado smacks Tampa in game 4 tonight.
Are you he's looking at me like
he
I
looked
can't
at you
Yeah.
dead in the eye, stone
Yes.
cold
Fuck outta
killer.
here, bro.
That's-
You saw that?
That's for the
Whew.
crickets.
Do you want to
before.
bet on the game so I could actually care?
You want to bet on the
No,
game?
I don't wanna
No,
take
I don't
his
do
money.
that.
I
He's
have,
a
like-
fucking intern.
I don't have 2 pennies to scrape together. So
So anyway, NHL Game 4 goes down tonight. The Yankees back in action, Mets back in action. All that's happening. Oh, you know what? Tomorrow, the NBA draft is actually happening. So we'll talk about the NBA draft, some mocks that are going out there. If the Knicks are going to make that big push to get to the top 4 or 5 of the NBA draft, they've been rumored to do that or to be looking into doing that. So we'll get into that tomorrow. So again, for Sturch, Gooch, Nick, and Madison, it has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. We will see you guys tomorrow.